So I had the privilege of interviewing Tomi, who's from Tamron head office in Japan. We had a lovely discussion and Tomi gave me a lot of insight into Tamron's ideology and approach to their lenses. If you like this type of content, please remember to like and subscribe and comment your favorite moment down below. Without further ado, I'll let Tomi introduce himself and we'll get straight into the interview.
My name is Tomi Tsunoyama, and I'm in the overseas department, and I'm handling the Australian market, the New Zealand market next door, and also the Southeastern market. So I've been traveling around Southeast Asia or this Oceanian countries a lot.
How long have you worked at Tamron?
Joined Tamron in 1991, so it's been more than 30 years.
Wow, yeah. That's fantastic. And what do you love about Tamron?
Well, first I didn't know anything about Tamron, and I joined Tamron and I started to learn about photography. I started to learn about lens, and I like the way that Tamron thinks about the product. I mean, it's not just a product. I mean, Tamron always thinks, why should we make this? Who is waiting for this kind of a product? So, yeah. And we listen to the feedback all the time. So there was a feedback, especially the 35 to 150. The feedback was, it's too big, it's too heavy, I don't want to carry this all day long. The result is we came up with a 35 to 100.
Well, we actually asked our Instagram following what their favorite lenses was, and one of the most popular responses was the 28 to 75 millimeter, the G2. Why do you think that lens is so special?
Well, I think the way that we brought it out was good, and the timing was good, because we always was talking about this in the office, that the mirrorless cameras out here, the mirrorless camera became smaller in size compared to the DSLR camera, but the lens somehow stayed big. Even though the camera came smaller, the lens stayed in a similar size, and everybody out there in the field was complaining the lens is too heavy, the lens is too big. So now the discussions shifted to, okay, how do we make a smaller, lighter lens? The answer was to cut back the focal length. Everybody's using a 24 to 70. That's the standard, must-have standard. But we cut it off to 28 because we knew cutting off that wide-angle lens just a little bit is going to make that lens much smaller. And making less, using less elements will make that lens lighter. So originally we were afraid, all the salespeople were afraid that, yeah, but if you cut back to 28, is that going to sell? I mean, everybody today is using a 24.
I don't think zoom range is too much of a problem with Tamron per se. One of my personal favorite lenses actually is the 28 to 200.
Yeah.
Why was it important to develop a lens like this?
Well, again, Tamron, in 1992, we came up with the original first 28 to 200. At that time, the market was filled with double zoom kit. So all the manufacturers was bringing out their double zoom kit. And then now, again, we're thinking, okay, everybody's buying two lenses at a time, and then again, everybody has to have a camera bag and carry it. Why can't we make it just one lens? Why can't we make everybody much easier to carry around the camera?
Yeah, wow.
So that's how we came out with the one lens covering all.
And then you did it again with the 18 to 300 APS-C, which is also a very, very impressive lens. And it's APS-C, meaning that it can cover a lot more camera bodies too.
Yeah. Exactly, yes.
I've heard that there's a fun story related to the 90 millimeter lens.
Well, it's not a fun story, but I just know that why we came out with that macro lens. It's before I joined Tamron, so it's just a story that I heard. But at that time, the 90 macro lens was not there. A macro lens was normally 50 or 105 macro lens, and it was only used for real macro shooting, so maybe a flower or insect or something. But a lot of the times that the macro was also used for copying a document. So copying a document means that there must have no distortion. Corner to corner, the resolution has to be there because you want to read everything out of it. So macro lens was typically used for that kind of a purpose as well, not really the nature macro. Typically was the documentation. Before that, it was an 8x10 size to do all those documentings.
Yeah, wow.
Then it changed to macro lens. And then we came in and said, oh, everybody's doing the documentation using a macro lens, but that's the only purpose. That's the only way you can use the lens. But we want to make a lens that is be usable, that has more bigger market. How can we do it? Those documentation lenses, or so those nature macro lenses, the MOD was that quite big. That's why you have a 100mm macro, not a close-up, but you have 100mm. So that's why even though you have a 1 meter MOD, the image was okay as a macro feature.
Wonderful.
We made a 90 macro going out to 29 centimeters. This is how close you can get. So this is the true macro. Doing the documentation with a 90mm, it was perfect to do the documentation. Corner to corner, the resolution is there. 90 macro going up to 29 centimeters. It was 1:2 ratio. So that made this word different.
Wow. That's a very awesome story.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Tamron is very good at doing the bokeh very soft.
Yes.
It's not a very sharp, crisp bokeh. It's a very soft bokeh. So that also helped because everybody was now seeing the macro image and saying, oh, it's a very nice soft bokeh in the background. Using the macro with this, it's perfect.
Amazing.
So at that time, little by little, the 90 macro legend.
Tomi, thank you so much for
Thank you.
sitting down and talking with me. It's been really great to meet someone from Tamron all the way up top. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm happy to join this pod as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks again for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe. We're trying to get a few different content ideas on our YouTube page, and your support means the world to us.